move on.
Okay. As a reminder, the questions in this particular debate come from us here at PBS Charlotte and the League of Women Voters. And next up, we want to talk about transportation and Charlotte's seemingly never-ending traffic problem. Spend a lot of time in traffic every day?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, I think we've been working on 85 forever, and now we're working on 77, and so it's going to be great when it's done, but the question is, when will it be done?
Light rail needs to go out to the airport. Light rail needs to go east-west. It's going north-south now.
We got to build more trains out here for transportation, because some people don't have a car, and you're going to be stuck. You can't go nowhere.
Okay, let's start our transportation conversation with toll roads. The city supported the current toll lane project that affects drivers on I-77 north of Charlotte. But if you drive 77 south or I-85 or 485 or 74 Independence Boulevard, you could also see toll lanes in your future. So as mayor, would you support toll lane projects going forward on other roads besides I-77 north? This time we start with Sandy.
They are coming to I-77 south. I opposed toll lanes when the vote was put to us. I stood up to the General Assembly. I stood up to members of the business community, Chamber of Commerce and Development community that were pushing hard for it. I thought it was a bad deal for citizens. If you make $15 an hour and you have to pay up to $20 to get to work, you're starting the day in the hole, and I don't think that helps us with our working families.
So I don't think anybody wants toll roads. We know that. But the question is, how do we pay for roads at all? Tolls are basically a user fee. There is still going to be free access on those lanes where we have tolls. But I think the most important thing here is to think about how are we going to pay for the growth that we need in transportation. And I don't know. I think the District 6 representative says no tolls, but what do we do? If we're not going to have a user fee, what will we do to grow our road capacity? And I want you to know that we have managed lanes. There will be transit that will ride on the managed lane, on the toll lane, without cost.
Okay.
Vi is a constituent. She also lives in District 6. I would say that on the toll roads, the contract, we have a 50-year non-compete with a foreign entity. The tolls will be fluctuating rates. Again, reports up to $20. It is not a good plan for working families. Other areas of the state do not have to resort to toll roads to have funding for basic infrastructure needs. I think we need to work with the state to find solutions in which we can get a fair share of those dollars.
I think that's really fair, that the state is going to have to make some decisions. That contract was signed by North Carolina Department of Transportation. It's being under review right now by Governor Cooper, and I look forward to seeing where we move and how we move forward, because I do believe we're going to have more roads, and we're going to have to figure out how to pay for them.
I think the key here is that we had an opportunity to stop toll roads. City Council had the opportunity to vote, and I chose to vote against tolling our citizens for what should be a basic service.
Vi, you get the last word.
Well, I think that Mr. Smith was able to vote against the toll roads, and that's often a choice, but the City Council directed my vote. I voted to support the toll roads, and they directed my vote. I'm not so sure we could have stopped it without paying a high cost, a penalty that Governor McCrory said was over $300 million.
Okay, thank you both. Let's move on to transit. City has plans in the future to extend light rail, trolleys, and other transit projects north out to Beatties Ford Road, west to the airport, east along Independence Boulevard and Monroe Road. But the current transit tax will not raise enough money to pay for those projects. So, as mayor, would you support raising city taxes in the future, or should we just build what we can afford right now with the current tax for transportation? Vi, you get the first answer.
Our plan for transit is so important to working families because we know that people can save $3,000 a year if they don't have to have a car. So we have to provide transportation options to do something here. We're going to have to look at the rail. We're talking about a model that says, how do we bill? So we don't have the money for it. Frankly, times have changed. We have to recognize that. I don't know how we're going to pay for it. I think that we're going to have a regional group working with the state as well as the federal government to figure this out.
Okay.
Half-cent sales tax on the transit will go to the voters, and then the community will be able to make a decision as to what they think priorities are for moving forward. We know that we have needs along the Independence Corridor with the Silver Line. We know we have needs on the Red Line up north and then eventually out west to the airport and beyond. And I think it'll require a community discussion to see where we are and how we prioritize that. What we know is the estimated cost is going to be about $7 billion to complete the system. What we know is we don't have the funds to do that today.
Response?
I think that's fair.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk more about transportation later if time permits, but now let's